permission to have gender transformation surgery, brothers and sisters. The state of California will allow children to undergo gender transformation surgery. The state of California is allowing children. The state of California is allowing children to legally undergo gender transformation surgery. Brothers and sisters, I'm going to talk to African people. To my Europeans, no disrespect, but I'm talking to my Africans. For my Asians, no disrespect. I'm talking to my Africans. For my East Indians, my Native Americans, my Latinos, my Arabs, my Anglo-Saxons, my Jews, no disrespect, but I'm talking to African people. And here's what I want to say. African people, I'm disappointed in us. We are losing our culture. We are losing our customs. We are losing our common sense. Ifa Tunde 3 times. Ifa Tunde 3 times. Ifa Tunde 3 times. I'm talking to my California Africans and all Africans in the world. We are losing our culture. We are losing our custom. We are losing our common sense. We have no right to undo what Almighty God has already done. I said we have no right to undo what Almighty God has already done. I said we have no right to undo what Almighty God has already done. You cannot, you should not, you must not, you will not take a child. I'm a doctor of child psychology. I'm an expert in child psychology. How do you allow a 12-year-old? How do you allow a 13-year-old? How do you allow a 14-year-old to decide that they are going to permanently dismember their body, permanently massacre their flesh because your son wants to be a boy? Excuse me, your son wants to be a girl and your daughter wants to be a boy. How can they know that at 10 years old? How can they know that at 11 years old? How can they know that at 12 years old? How can they know that at 13 years old? You're going to let a child, you're going to let a baby make an adult decision. You're going to let a baby make an adult decision. You're going to let a baby make an adult. No child knows what they want to be, but you're going to let a baby decide to have surgery. It's one thing if you're going to let them experiment with same-sex relationships, and I don't agree with that, but that's one thing. It's one thing if you're going to let a he call himself a her. It's one thing if you're going to let a her call himself a he, and I don't agree with that. But you're going to go further than that, and you're going to let your child decide to undergo permanent gender alteration surgery. So we're going to start seeing surgically altered boys and surgically altered little girls. Surgically altered little boys and surgically altered little girls. Surgically altered little boys and surgically altered little girls. Brothers and sisters, the European can do what he wants. African people must maintain our tradition. African people must maintain our culture. African people must maintain our customs. African people cannot, should not, must not allow our children to undergo gender transformation surgery. I totally disagree. I totally reject anybody who claims it is acceptable for a child to undergo permanent gender transformation surgery. Detroit, Michigan, I am here. Detroit, Michigan, I am here. Detroit, Michigan, I am here. Join me today at Zussman Park in Detroit. Flint, Michigan, pull up. Big Rapids, pull up. Kalamazoo, pull up. Flint, pull up. Grand Rapids, pull up. Muskegon, pull up to Detroit today. Zussman Park from 10 until 4. Detroit, Michigan is going down today. Zussman Park, Sunday, October the 2nd, Nat Turner's 222nd birthday. Detroit, Michigan, Sunday, October the 2nd, Nat Turner, 222nd birthday. Zussman Park is 3800 Davidson at Waverly and Dexter. Zussman Park is located at 3800 Davidson at Waverly and Dexter. Zussman Park here in Detroit is located at 3800 Davison at Waverly and Dexter. Free event outdoors. Free event outdoors in Detroit, Michigan today. Free event outdoors. If you need the flyer, you can text me 215-989-9858. 215-989-9858. 215-989-9858. Hit the Cash App, $FDMG School. Hit the Cash App, $FDMG School. Hit the Cash App, $FDMG School. Hit your PayPal, paypal.me/FDMG Academy. Hit your PayPal, paypal.me/FDMG Academy. Hit your PayPal International Africans, paypal.me/FDMG Academy. Now here's what I want to say to those who are opposed to the authentic African truth. If you want to be opposed to the authentic African truth, that is your business. If you want to be opposed to the authentic African truth, that is your business. But I do want to say this to you hypocrites out there. Let me say this to you hypocrites who claim to be against racism. Whenever I speak truth, you call it racism. But when the police kill black people, you call it justice. Whenever I speak truth, you call it racism. But when black people are economically marginalized and discriminated against, you remain silent. When I speak truth, you call it racism. But when black people are homeless in a country that they built, you call it justice. When I speak truth, you call it racism. But when black children are miseducated in mass, you say nothing at all. When black men are mass incarcerated, you say nothing at all. When black elders are thrown out of their homes because of property taxes and gentrification, you say nothing at all. Let me say something to you hypocrites. Let me say something to you hypocrites, that when I speak the authentic African truth, it's racism. When I speak the authentic African truth, it's racism. But when black people are killed by police, when black people are overlooked for jobs, when black people are gentrified, when black people are mass incarcerated, when black people are presented in less than our best images on media, radio, TV, newspaper, you don't say nothing at all. No, you are the racists. You are the racists. You are the racists, you devils. You are the racist. And because you don't want to call truth truth, because you want to be in denial about the racism that is rampant in American society, you want to hurl false insults and accusations. But I'm here to tell you right now, I will not dance if I don't like the music. I will not scratch if I do not itch. And I will not smile if I am not happy. I want you to understand me, overstand me, and understand me today. I want you to understand me, overstand me, and understand me today. I will not smile if it's not funny. I will not scratch if I'm not itching. And I will not dance if I don't like the music. This country is racist. It is built on racism. My ancestors built America. I said my ancestors built America. I said my ancestors built America, and we were not paid for it. We didn't get a retirement. We didn't get a pension. We didn't get a 401k. We didn't have no vacation days. We didn't get no labor laws. There was no civil rights laws. There was no human rights law. We built this country. That's right, brothers and sisters. Black people are discriminated against more than any transsexual has ever been. Black people are discriminated against more than any homosexual has ever been. Black people are discriminated against more than any lesbian has ever been. Black people are discriminated against more than the Ukrainians. Black people are discriminated against more than the Afghanis. Black people are discriminated against more than any immigrant group. The most oppressed, the most marginalized, the most discriminated against African group in the world, in America, are the Africans, brothers and sisters. I'm not crying tears for nobody. I'm not crying tears for nobody. If I'm crying for African men, African women, African children, African elders. I'm not crying for nobody else. I wish you well. I have nothing against no non-African people. Because as the father of civilization, as the father of humanity, I will not disparage my non-African children. As the father of humanity, I will not disparage my non-African children. As the father of humanity, I will not disparage non-African children. But I'll tell you this, I will not allow non-African children to get away with thinking. I will not allow non-African children to get away with thinking that everybody else's problems are more a priority over African people. Them days is gone. Them days of us crying for everybody else is over with. The only tears I'm shedding are for African liberation. The only blood I'm shedding is for African liberation. And if you got a problem with that, so be it. If you got a problem with that, so be it. It is all Africans for every African and every African for all Africans. Brothers and sisters, I am in Detroit celebrating Nat Turner's 222nd birthday. I am in Detroit celebrating Nat Turner's 222nd birthday. We had a young brother who overdosed on the wrong drug. We had a brother who overdosed accidentally on the wrong drug. And so we're going to celebrate his life as we celebrate Nat Turner. It's going down today. Free outdoor event in Detroit, Michigan. Free outdoor event in Detroit, Michigan. Free outdoor event in Detroit, Michigan. Join us at Zussman Park, 3800 Waverly, Davison. Join us at Zussman Park, 3800 Davison. Zussman Park, 3800 Davison. Free outdoor event from 10 a.m. till 4 p.m. The Prince of Pan-Africanism speaks at 2 p.m. Free event, Detroit, Michigan. Today, Sunday, Zussman Park, 3800 Davison, from 10 until 4. King Kong Consciousness speaks at 2. 10 until 4, the most relevant scholar in the world speaks at 2. 10 until 4, the most requested scholar in the world speaks at 2. 10 until 4, the most revolutionary scholar in the world speaks at 2. Let me say this. I've been getting a lot of requests for podcast interviews, Instagram interviews, Clubhouse interviews, Facebook interviews, YouTube interviews. I am now open to social media interviews, but they will cost you $500 paid in advance. I repeat, if you want to interview me on your YouTube page, if you want to interview me on your TikTok page, if you want to interview me on your Instagram page, if you want to interview me on your radio show, your podcast, your YouTube page, $500 if you want to be interviewed by the most requested black scholar in the world. $500 if you want to be interviewed by the king of YouTube, the king of TikTok, the king of black psychology, the king of Pan-Africanism, the king of black education. $500 for an interview on your YouTube, website, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, podcast. If you want to schedule your interview, you can text message me 215-989-9858. To schedule your interview, you can text message me 215-989-9858. If you want to schedule your interview, text message me your name, the day and time you are looking at, the name of your show. Text that to me, 215-989-9858. Do not pay until I have confirmed your interview. Do not pay, and you pay me, not FDMG. You pay me, not FDMG. You pay me. Cash App, $ Dr. Umar Johnson. Cash App, $ Dr. Umar Johnson. Cash App, $ Dr. Umar Johnson. PayPal, Umar the Psychologist. PayPal, Umar the Psychologist. PayPal, Umar the Psychologist. Zelle, 215-989-9858. Zelle, 215-989-9858. Zelle, 215-989-9858. Brothers and sisters, I am in Detroit. I want to thank all my Michigan supporters, all my Michigan donors from Flint to Kalamazoo to Grand Rapids to Big Rapids to Detroit to Inkster, Michigan. Thank you for your donations. I still want an FDMG in Detroit. I still want an FDMG in Detroit. I still want an FDMG in Detroit. If you know of a school in Detroit, if you know of a school in Chicago, if you know of a school in Indianapolis, if you know of a school in Houston, if you know of a school in Dallas, if you know of a school in Atlanta, if you know of a school in Baltimore, if you know of a school in Miami, if you know of a school in Fort Lauderdale, if you know of a school in Milwaukee, if you know of a school in Des Moines, Iowa, if you know of a school in Little Rock, Arkansas, if you know of a school in Jackson, Mississippi that is low cost and we can get it, I'm ready to intensify the FDMG movement. I'm ready to intensify the FDMG movement. If you got a school in Cleveland, let me know, brothers and sisters. Find me some schools and let's start mass educating black children. Let's start mass liberating black children. It is every African for all Africans and all Africans for every African. It is every African for all Africans and all Africans for every African. $500 podcast interview, $500 YouTube interview, $500 Instagram interview, $500 podcast interview, 215-989-9858. You got a struggling YouTube page, you know you need me. You got a struggling Instagram page, you know you need me. You got a struggling TikTok page, you know you need me. You got a struggling podcast, you know you need me. Hit me up, text message 215-989-9858, 215-989-9858. Ifa Tunde 3 times, 215-989-9858. What do I have coming up next? Let me tell you who I got coming up next. Detroit is today. And then I will be in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware next Saturday. Rehoboth Beach, Delaware next Saturday. Rehoboth Beach, Delaware next Saturday. But that is a private memorial for a Queen Mother Elder turned ancestor who was a Dr. Umar supporter. I said Rehoboth Beach, Delaware next Saturday is not a public event. Rehoboth Beach, Delaware next Saturday is not a public event. That is a private memorial for a Queen Mother Elder turned ancestor who was a Dr. Umar supporter and I've been invited to say a few words in honor of the celebration of life for the Queen Mother. May she rest in peace. October 13th, Everlasting Life Cafe, Capitol Heights, Maryland. October 13th, Everlasting Life Cafe, Capitol Heights, Maryland. October the 13th, Everlasting Life Cafe, Capitol Heights, Maryland. The Emmett Till movie comes out on the 14th. The Emmett Till movie comes out on the 14th. The Emmett Till movie comes out on the 14th. Philadelphia, I'm speaking in Philly, October the 15th. Location undisclosed. If you want to register, text me for the number. I'm speaking in Philadelphia, October the 15th. Location undisclosed. If you want to register, text me for the flyer. I'm speaking in Philadelphia, October the 15th. Location undisclosed in Philadelphia. If you want to register, text me for the number. Cheney University. Cheney University. America's first historically black college. Cheney University, October the 29th. Cheney University panel discussion, October the 29th. Cheney University panel discussion, October the 29th. Kampala, Uganda, November 3rd. 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 Kampala, Uganda. Where are my Uganda Africans? Where are my Uganda Africans? Where are my Ugandan Africans? Where are my Ugandan Africans? Kampala, Uganda. University of Kampala Student Conference, November the 3rd. University of Kampala Student Conference, November the 3rd. University of Kampala Student Conference, November the 3rd. University of Kampala, Uganda, November the 3rd. Nat Turner Land, November the 11th. Nat Turner Land, Virginia. Go to natturnerlibrary.com, natturnerlibrary.com, natturnerlibrary.com. In fact, they celebrating Nat Turner today in Nat Turner Land, and we will celebrate Nat Turner on November the 11th, the day he was executed. They're celebrating Nat Turner today in Nat Turner Land on his birthday, and we will celebrate Nat Turner on November the 11th on the
questions. Can I ask a couple
Sure.
questions?
I'll give you two questions, Brandon. Go right ahead.
Okay. Can we do a match?
What is the match, Brandon? I'm new to TikTok, sir.
It's a game where people vote for their favorite broadcaster.
People vote for their favorite broadcaster. Now, I'm wondering, Brandon, if I'm at a disadvantage for that, since I don't really watch a lot of podcasts and television because I'm so busy struggling and fighting in the liberation struggle of my people. I don't know if I would get any of the answers correct, but I will indulge you.
Bro, so I fight for my people too.
And what is your ethnicity, Brandon? What's your ethnicity? Are you Polish, Irish, Jewish, German? What's your ethnicity? Educate me.
Jewish, and I'm Russian.
Jewish and Russian. So Russian Jew, would it be?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Go right ahead, Brandon.
So I fight for people that have autism and people that are have problems, and people make fun of them, and I have the utmost sympathy to those people.
So do I, Brandon. I'm actually a certified school psychologist, Brandon. So I do autistic evaluations for a living. I support autistic parents. I support autistic children. And when I'm done building the Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey Academy, we will have a special program for autistic African boys as well.
That's good. So since you're a psychologist, that's interesting. How would you confront a problem if someone's struggling and they don't know what to do? What would you say?
It depends. What are they struggling with?
They're struggling with people being mean to them and harassing them. What would you say?
Well, A couple things. Number one, we need to build their resilience, because the truth of the matter is, in life, there will be people who will mistreat you. There will be people who will deliberately try to undermine your progress. That is a part of life. We live in a universe that has a balance of positive energy and negative energy. So you're going to have to develop the emotional hardiness and the psychological resilience skills to be able to deal with those types of confrontations.
Another question. So, like, if someone, that is for the public, by the way, if someone like is out there and they're like, they have no friends, they get in a breakup with their girlfriend, let's say, and like, like, what's a good way to cope with the frustration they feel? Like,
It
maybe do.
sounds like two things, Brandon. One, low self-esteem. It sounds like they may be suffering from low self-esteem, because although we will lose friends, we will gain friends, we will be hurt by people we know, it should not affect us to the point where it undermines our peace of mind. So when someone is affected to the point where losing a friend undermines their peace of mind and ability to function in life, to me, that sounds like an overdependence on other people for approval, which is usually evidence of low self-esteem. So I'm looking at low self-esteem, number one. And the other point that I'm looking at there, Brandon, is a need for social skills training. Some of us need to be taught how to enter into relationships socially, how to get out of relationships socially, how to survive in relationships socially as well. So people will welcome us and we can welcome other people. And particularly in dealing with autistic children, they tend to need social skills training more than others, because autism is a disability of communication, verbal and nonverbal. So if we're specifically speaking of autistic adults and children, I think social skills training is something that is in order.
Okay. Um, and some people like have like I've come across people who are crying that they have like family issues and they don't know like how to get out of it or whatever. What would you say about that?
Depends on the type of family issue that they're having. You know, families are dynamic. Is it an issue with mom? Is it an issue with dad? Is it an issue with sibling? Is it sibling rivalry? Is it sibling bullying? Is it uh, abandonment by the father? Is it emotional abuse by the mother? Is it an issue with relatives in the extended family? So it all depends on what the issue is, because you can have a million and one different issues within the family system and within the family context.
Usually people
Now, I
complain
have a
about that.
question for you, Brandon. I have a question for you, Brandon, because I'm gonna give you two more questions. When we're done our conversation, Brandon, because I'm new to TikTok, how will I be able to exit you from the conversation when we're done? I'm not exiting you now, but when we're done, what button do I hit to close you out of the conversation when we're done?
I'll close myself out of the conversation
Okay,
when
but how can I do it in the future, Brandon? Let's say I have someone on and I need to close them out. Where is the option to close them out? I need you to educate me, sir.
you go to host, you see the infinity symbol on the left bottom corner. You click
Okay.
it. You go to the top infinity symbol on the right top corner, and then you go to disconnect.
Okay, so I hit the X, the infinity symbol with the X.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem. Go ahead, Brandon. You got another two questions.
So do you want to do a match or not?
Uh, no, we're going to opt out of the match, Brandon. I'd rather not do the match.
Okay.
But I do
And
have a question for you, Brandon. I do have a question for you.
yeah.
Um, African people, many of us take issue with some members of the Jewish community who will deny that European Jews are racist against African people, when the truth of the matter is, Brandon, maybe not you, but within your community, we find historically that when we look at many of the music studios that control the negative gangster rap that is being proliferated in the black community. And when you look at the movie studios that often misrepresent African people in negative images, many of those music companies and movie studios are owned by European Jews. And so, my question to you, Brandon, is do you think that there is systemic racism practiced by the European Jewish community against African people as it relates to the misrepresentation of our public image when it comes to movies and music, much of which is published by Jewish owned publishing houses? What are your thoughts on that, Brandon?
I think it's a ridiculous assumption, but I have no clue. I have no idea.
You have no idea, Brandon? You have
Nope.
no idea, or is the topic kind of uncomfortable for you?
No, bro. I'm not racist at all. I am like
Okay. What is your definition of racism, Brandon? What is your definition of racism?
someone that is like ignorant because like I, I judge people based on what's on the inside, not on the outside. So like you could be pink. I don't care. You
Okay.
know. Yeah.
Understood, Brandon. No problem. What's your last question for me, Brandon?
Um. Um. So um if somebody is struggling with um school related things, what would you suggest them to do?
Some counseling. They probably need some counseling, Brandon. There's a lot that young people go through in this world today. Young adults, such as yourself, older adults, we often need somebody to talk to. That's why I became a therapist. That's why I became a school psychologist. That's why I got my doctorate in clinical psychology to help people. And there's nothing wrong with seeking out a therapist. There's nothing wrong with seeking out a counselor. Sometimes we need somebody to talk to because when you keep all of that negative content and negative memories and negative emotions and negative thoughts bottled up inside of you, it can kill you. And that's why I strongly recommend that most people get a counselor or a therapist who they can talk to on a regular
Oh,
basis to
also,
keep you.
and
Say
also,
again.
what are some of the reasons why children leave their parents' home when they get older? Do you know why?
Yes, some parents are extremely controlling of their children. They don't allow them, Brandon, to make their own decisions. Now, I believe parents should guide the decisions that their children make, but children should be allowed to make decisions because if they don't, when they become adults, they will not know how to make decisions and they will develop anxiety disorders. They can develop generalized anxiety disorders, all kinds of phobias because they're not used to making decisions. So a lot of children run away from their parents as soon as they turn 18 because they were never allowed to make decisions. Number two, emotional abuse. A lot of children can't wait to get out of their parents' nest because they were emotionally abused, criticized, and ridiculed most of their childhood. And as a result of that, they couldn't wait to get out of the parents' home. And the third reason why a lot of children run is physical abuse and religious oppression. A lot of parents force feed religion down their children's throats, whether it's Islam, whether it's Christianity, whether it's Judaism. They force the religion on their kids. And don't get me wrong, I think children should have a spiritual foundation, but they should not have to be a spiritual extremist. Some parents require that their children become spiritual extremists during childhood. And I think that could be emotionally abusive. And of course, a lot of parents are also physically abusive because they were abused as children themselves. So those are some of the reasons that children can't wait to get out of their parents' homes when they turn 18. Brandon, it's been good talking to you, young man. Where you located at, Brandon? What city?
I'm in New York. How about yourself?
New York City. All right. You be careful, Brandon. Take care of yourself. Feel free to chime in any other time. I had a great time talking to you, Brandon. Take care, bro.
Yes, and I think a lot of the viewers also learned a thing or two from your speeches. Thank you for. All right.
Thank you, Brandon. Take care, bro.
Thank you. Take care.
I'm in Detroit, King Kong Consciousness. Join me today in Detroit at Zussman Park, 3800 Davison, 10 until 4 in Detroit right now. Nat Turner's birthday, Sunday, October the 2nd. From 10 until 4, I speak at 2. Sunday, October the 2nd, from 10 until 4, I speak at 2. Hit the Cash App, $FDMG School. Hit the Cash App, $FDMG School. Hit the PayPal, FDMG Academy. Hit the PayPal, FDMG Academy. If you want to interview me on your PayPal, if you want to interview me, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, podcast. I charge $500 for interviews. If you want to interview me, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, podcast, $500. Text my phone. Who are you? What's the name of your show? When do you want to do the interview? Date and time. 215-989-9858. 215-989-9858. Brothers and sisters, I am in Detroit, Michigan. Pull up to Zussman Park, 3800 Davison at Waverly and Dexter. Free outdoor event all day. Detroit, 10 to 4, Zussman Park, 3800 Davison. Nat Turner's birthday today. Bring your children. It's a message for black boys, young black men, all black men. Black women come out. Zussman Park, Detroit, Michigan, Sunday, October the 2nd. Nat Turner birthday. Message to the youth, 10 until 4. Dr. Umar speaks at 2. Dr. Umar speaks at 2. Dr. Umar speaks at 2. Schedule your interview. Text message me, 215-989-9858. Schedule your interview. Text message me, 215-989-9858. Black Queens Forever. Consciousness over cookies. Politics over punani. Revolution over romance. Business over the bedroom. We are in the building. Shout out to all my beautiful black women. I love black women. I honor black women. I live for black women. I will die for black women. Black men must be for black women. Support the black family. Support the black child. Support the black father. Support the black mother. Support black